Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the 2017 Ferrari 812 Superfast. Now this is a two-door Grand Tourer which has a front mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout, and it debuted at the 2017 Geneva Motor Show and is a successor to the F12 Berlinetta, a car I wasn't all that much of a fan of. I thought it was too heavy and didn't look very good at all. And even though this car does look slightly better than that car, I still have some styling reservations. But nonetheless, this has a dual clutch 7-speed F1 automated manual gearbox, carbon ceramic Brembo Extreme Design disc brakes, which give it a 5.8% braking advantage over the F12 Berlinetta. Has active and passive aero, and yeah, it's also got an improved drag coefficient over the F12 thanks to that active and passive aero, and it's also the first Ferrari to have electronic power steering. So yeah, this is a pretty big deal for Ferrari after the F12, which was fairly successful, so it's no surprise that they based it on that car, because as you can see it's got the same kind of shape as it, though obviously styling wise it is a little bit different. But again, even though I do like it slightly more than the F12 Berlinetta, I'm still not a massive fan of the styling on this car. I certainly prefer the looks of the F12 TDF, which had a better front bumper and rear bumper compared to the F12 Berlinetta, as is the same case with this car. But nonetheless, it's still a decent looking car, and yeah, it's got plenty of power. In fact, this is the most powerful naturally aspirated car you can get as of this video coming out, as it has 788 horsepower, 529 pounds-feet of torque from a 6.5 litre V12 engine. No turbochargers, no hybrid system or anything like that. In fact, Ferrari actually stated that they didn't want to put anything on it like that for heritage reasons, which is kind of a noble thing to do, quite frankly. I wouldn't have expected them to do such a thing like that, considering the kind of competition that they're going up against with McLaren and the likes, building cars that are as near or if not more powerful than cars like this. And yeah, it's got a decent amount of room in the rear, but if you're buying a car like this for practicality reasons, then you've got something wrong with you, quite frankly. And yeah, interior wise, it's a little bit better than some Ferraris from the past, but it still looks a little bit jumbled as far as I'm concerned, with knobs and switches being at different angles and not being wholly ergonomic. But nonetheless, it's again a Ferrari. You're not buying it for the interior or how practical it is. You're buying it for how quick it is and how striking it is. And yeah, it's fairly striking in terms of looks. Like I said, I do prefer it to the F12, but I really don't like those vents above the headlights. It makes it look a bit like it's got eyelashes as opposed to just headlights. And yeah, the rear end's a little bit busy for me. I don't like the coloured diffuser, for instance, which yeah, it just makes it look like a underskirt or a skid skirt or something like that, which yeah, really isn't all that great looking. But again, this is more about the performance and how it handles over everything else. So to see what it can do, and I'm going to be comparing against the F12 and its TDF variant. So yeah, let's get out onto the track and see what it can do. So yeah, we're at Mugello for 2 laps, so let's see what this Ferrari can do at its home turf. Now I have to say, I really do like the engine noise on this car. It's a slightly bigger V12 than the F12 Berlinetta, which had a 6.3 litre, and this obviously has a 6.5, which is a pretty damn huge engine, especially for one that doesn't have any turbocharging or anything like that to, at least make it a bit more economically viable. And yeah, weirdly, despite the fact that obviously this car looks different and is obviously a bit newer than the F12 Berlinetta, it actually weighs the same as that car at 3,594 pounds. But because obviously this has better aerodynamics and better brakes, it does handle and brake better than that car, which was another problem I had with that vehicle. I didn't find it to be all that good in terms of handling. And even though this is no stable car, certainly likes to oversteer a little bit, it is at least fun to drive, and it's quite manic. It's really on the edge. It's complete opposite to that McLaren 720S, for instance, which is stable and predictable in pretty much every way, whereas this is right on the edge, which I guess is no surprise because it has more horsepower than that McLaren, while still only having rear-wheel drive. So yeah, it's a bit more manic, a bit more frightening in some ways, but also a bit more fun and way more dramatic than McLaren. So I do prefer it to that McLaren actually. But do I prefer it to the likes of the F12 TDF? Because I do really like that car, and I do much prefer it to the F12 Berlinetta. And though I do like this car more than the F12 Berlinetta, I don't really like it as much as the TDF, which I think looks better, it handles better, brakes better, and has less weight to deal with. In fact, it has 243 pounds less, which is quite a weight to be shed off the weight of this car. And yeah, it helps it make it a better handling car. And even though this car does obviously have 19 horsepower more, oh dear, there's that unpredictability coming up. It does have 19 horsepower more than the TDF, as well as 10 pounds-feet of torque more. Its 0 to 60 time is 0.1 of a second less. Now its 0 to 100 time is more by more than half a second, but that's only because this has more power. Because obviously the faster you go in, the more power you need to get through the aerodynamic forces that are acting on the bodywork. So yeah, it's not massively quicker than the TDF. Certainly not in terms of 0 to 60 time, which is obviously down on it. And that half a second really doesn't make all that much of a difference on the track when you have a car that doesn't handle as well. Now its top speed is obviously a lot more, because it obviously has more power. It's 222 mile an hour on this car, whereas the TDF can only manage 215. I say only, it's still a massive amount of top speed. And yeah, oh dear, sorry I wasn't looking at the racing track there. This compared to the F12 Berlinetta, they broadly have the same top speed, but this is obviously quicker in the acceleration times. It's 0.1 of a second quicker, and it's 1.3 seconds quicker to 100. So there's a massive difference between this and the standard F12, which is obviously the car this is replacing. But again, the TDF just has a bit more going for it. Handling wise, it's just better. It can still be a bit on the manic side, a bit slidey, but it's a bit more controllable, a bit better in terms of brakes. And even though it does have slightly less power, it's still not a slow car by any means. And when it comes to lap times, that TDF is better. Took this around Monza as well as the TDF, and the TDF was 2 seconds quicker. But this was 6 seconds quicker than the F12 Berlinetta, so it is a definite improvement over that car, and I do definitely prefer it to the Berlinetta. But yeah, that TDF is just a little bit more special, because it is obviously a much rarer car. They only made 799 versions of it, and yeah, it's just a little bit more fun to drive, and yeah, it does have the one up on this on the 0 to 60 front. So yeah, still, it's a good car, this 812 Superfast. I do like the name Superfast, which you can trace back to the 60s, and yeah, it certainly does live up to its name. It really is super fast, and it has a great sounding engine. It's got really good performance, and yeah, it does on the whole handle okay, just not quite as well as that TDF, but on the whole it's a solid car. And yeah, I presume a lot of people have been asking for this, because there have been a lot of people raving about this and the McLaren being in the Top Gear car pack. And I'm glad it is in the game, because it obviously is a new Ferrari, and Ferrari are one of the most respected supercar manufacturers out there, so it's only natural to have one of the newest cars on the game. But I do hope that they bring out a more rare, slightly more track orientated version of this car like they did with the F12, because yeah, there's no doubt there's potential for an even better car within the framework of this vehicle. And if you can get even more horsepower out of it, then that'll be even better, because obviously the F12 Berlinetta had a lot less power than the F12 TDF, about 39 horsepower less. So yeah, if they can get it above 800, that'll make for one hell of a car. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.